The strength of your convictions doesn't actually make you successful. Trying hard doesn't really get you anywhere. We think that we're all him, that we're all the exception, that we are her. The harder we work, the more the success is guaranteed. This is absolutely not the case in my experience. What we deem as success is so much more other things, like timing, luck, and more importantly, wanting the right thing for us. Most of us, including me, spend hours trying to grind away at something, and there's no clear push for true creativity or innovation. Most of us are just repeating what others have done, hoping to find some semblance of success. And we're convinced by our upbringing and our culture that the more we slave away at something, the more likely it is that we are to succeed in something. Some of us have to believe this. It's just part of our identity. Because not believing in it will probably make us give up entirely. But this is only true because the journey itself has no sense of joy or fun. How can it be when you're working for an insurance company and constantly getting yelled at by a customer who rightfully probably hates that company too? How can you be when you're working a cashier job and you're waiting to clock out and you're getting yelled at for no reason? Here we are again, waking up at 6 a.m. to commute to a job that will give us a free bagel and a lot more unpaid hours of work. That is definitely hard work. We are made to believe that there is a there to struggling, that you will get to a better place. The convictions do help. The willpower does help. However, I don't think this determines success at all. In fact, I think the harder you work in this manner, the more the thing that you're looking for slips away. It's always over there, constantly grasping at it. Maybe you just don't want it badly enough, that's why it's not with you. So you double down, you contract, you clench, grind even more. It won't work. You are just not enough. Either you give up, or you double down, you triple down. On and on this thought process goes. When does it stop? There's only one conviction that I actually truly hold on to these days, and that's the conviction that everything goes, that nothing should be clung to in the end. Premise of chasing the dream, living in the van, going after it, so charming and romantic to me, probably to a lot of us as well. Chase the dream, chase it, but chase it without clinging. Go ahead and work very hard in your craft. Believe that you are him or her, and don't expect that results will actually come, or that anyone else will ever believe that you're as great as you think you are. The majority of time, in the end, you're stuck with yourself in between the process, failing over and over and over and over again. Even larger majority of the time, you're spending being absolutely bored out of your mind. There's no glory in that, and there's no conviction in that, in my opinion. So in that way, true strength to me looks a lot less like conviction. It has an element of gentleness, clarity, and lightheartedness. It challenges us without breaking us. It's unsure and confused, yes, but still curious and engaged. There's a real sense of confidence that arises here without a sense of desperation or arrogance. It's not the same thing as wanting something even more badly and believing that you are that person. To maintain a bond that is pure, I think the person does not need to be successful, both in career or have the perfect body or be super rich or have a lot of social power. This feels like a mistake that I've made a lot in my life. It seems like the more successful people are in terms of wealth or status, the harder it is for them to date in some manner. It's harder it is for them to find true friendships to engage with. And I think a lot of people would say that they would sacrifice at least a percentage of that wealth for really good relationship, whether it's with their family, with their loved ones, or with their friendships. Instead, I do think that love requires a sense of wholeness. I think if we require a lot of stimulus or conditions to feel things like joy or satisfaction, then the romantic love will almost certainly fail, because love in and of itself requires a sense of boredom being acceptable, because it's guaranteed that something will get boring in your life. Your partner will get boring, your friend will get boring if we don't look at them in the right way. But we cannot seem to sit there in boredom. Instead, we're clenching to our will and conviction. My greatest insights have always happened in those moments of boredom or seeming boredom. It teaches us to value small things because they're not so small. The people that I know that have the best love life value small things about their partners. Their smile, the twinkle in their eyes, their laugh. Sure, things like good skin, big butt, and a small waist is nice too. It's not limited to just that. I don't need big gestures and gifts from my friend to feel supported. In fact, I think we could all probably agree some of my best moments in my life with my friends have been unplanned hangout. This is why college was so much fun, right? Nothing ever needed to be planned. Sometimes it's just chill to just drive with your friend with some good music and some super cancelable humor. Sometimes it's fun to just share a meal, to watch a show. I truly think it's beautiful when I hear things like wedding vows and convictions. I will forever love you and be beside you always and always. However, I really don't think it means as much as we think it does, because I do believe that love is in the mundane, and it's a choice that we make every single moment, day by day, not for forever. And from this point of view, convictions and willpower simply does not exist. Conviction is the ability to stay convinced about something, about a point of view, in spite of all the circumstances. Willpower is the ability to exert a force in spite of our internal emotions or the outside world. However, if it's a choice in each moment to be here, then both those principles simply do not matter because you want to be here. And so you don't need to fight against anything. As we have gotten to the point where AI and job sourcing is like very much real, I'm afraid that I'm fully replaceable. This is why I've always admired people that could build something. Whether it's people that work to build their workshop desk, a Lego set, a robot, or even their Minecraft house. In the same manner, the people that could create things that are completely novel are so incredible to me. Choreographers, visual artists, musicians, designers. I think we all associate these things naturally with someone that is creative. However, it goes beyond just those things. It's the people that are able to strategize and adapt that are truly creative to me. It comes from the same lateral brain thinking method, where people that could use the mundane and find something really new and novel that's useful. And I do think this is a skill that each of us have that's irreplaceable. It comes not from habit or conviction or willpower. Neither does it come from discipline. It comes from curiosity and lots of testing. This is only possible when we have empty space. Empty space to let the source in, per se. I don't know what that means, but it definitely feels like an almost outside of my body experience, or at least it's a different place from my head alone. Not saying God, not saying outworld intelligence, just experience of being connected to the act that I'm doing right now. It's incredible. That's possible to do when we think of each moment as being novel, as it actually is. Instead of having convictions and willpower, instead of blasting energy drinks and working harder and harder and harder, instead of being addicted to consumption, whether it's in the form of getting money or success or attention, creativity is a very source of light. It is the opposite of consumption. So I think the more that we create things and do things out of the norm to test and to have fun, the more that we move in different ways, the more that we question in different ways and love others in different manners, the more that we are capable of being in this mind where the source is let in. But to do this, we must abandon the result, and we must do things without any expectations, and something will surely turn out, I hope. Right before writing this, I came out of a 2-hour meditation session. I just wanted to try it to see if it was hard. Tell me one thing, there's nothing special about it, but it's even clearer to me how there's no mind to overcome. I did literally nothing but just sit still. That's it. That's all that happened. The mind is interesting because it automatically starts projecting some methods and tools. It thinks this is a something, that this act is something special, but there's nothing at all in comparison to a regular living. And in that mindset, you realize quickly that convictions and willpower are not hard things at all. It's just what our brain makes them out to be. Rather, I think life is a matter of surrendering to ideas to begin with. It sounds so complicated, but all you're really just doing is sitting, just living, not hoping to add more, not hoping to do more, just sitting. You don't need to be special or talented or someone else. I promise you that was probably the biggest lie that I've ever told. You don't even need to work hard for it. Most creative people are not rich. The ones that are rich are just more visible because they could afford to take risks and they want to be in the public limelight. Similarly, most hard effort isn't actually hard. There's a ton of smoke screens and lies all over the place here. If you get anything out of this video, it's this. I challenge myself and everyone to make the same boring things seem interesting. This is actually possible. I heard Casey Neistat, whom I have a lot of disagreements with, but I find to be a very cool artist. When he was daily vlogging, that whole goal was to make even the most boring things seem entertaining. One of my favorite vlogs from him was him just trying to find a drone that he happened to lose. We saw in the video that the drone broke and fell off into something. And after that, the entire 8 minutes was just a process of him trying to figure out how to retrieve it. And that's how we made a storyline out of it. Normally, if that happened to me in my own life, I would be irritated, annoyed, and just cursing at the world for trying to figure that out, trying to have to do this extra chore. Instead, if we see that the struggles that we are going through, supposedly, are actually the very source of creativity that we could unlock, then I think the world will change before our eyes. We find this to be entertaining, specifically because we want to be able to romanticize our life and find the mundane entertaining. It makes us realize that every day truly is different and there is a gift to it. It's a reminder that it's much more about paying attention than being strong-willed, much more about being lighthearted than having grit. Lightness spreads, creativity spreads, while convictions only make you clench your butthole even harder. Yet, I don't think I could purposefully get rid of strong will and conviction as a top-down method. It is not even an intellectual pursuit, nor is the act of being at ease some sort of momentous occasion either. It's just a fact that's available to us behind every thought and every action. It's a gentleness. It's available to us even in the most frustrating parts of our lives. In our failures, in our rejection, in our relapse, in our lust, in our greed. All these things are not something we need to overcome with great force of discipline and will. These have already been beaten in the subtle act of noticing the tapestry of our mind. It is done. Nothing to have convictions for, and nothing to overcome.